Alright, greetings everyone, this is Umbi here, and it is time for top 4 of the VGC Draft League, Series 9, and we got Datrevdo versus Josh on the side of the bracket. Just taking a quick look at the matchups. I think from Josh's team is pretty curious. They opt for bringing Pelipper, however they left the Kingdra at home instead, opting for Hatterene and Fungus. Very likely predicting Trick Room from Cresselia, and they just want a way to operate within the appropriate speed tier. On Datrevdo's side, you see Incineroar, Porygon Z. Surprisingly, Cottony comes out. Then the ever-present Gengar, Rillaboom, Cresselia that they brought consistently as well. Not too much variation from what we've seen from them so far outside of the Hatterene and Fungus. So let's get into it and see how it plays out. So right off the bat, Datrevdo wants to lead with PZ and Gengar. On the opposing side, in surprise, it's Liepard and Celesteela instead of the Liepard Tapu Lele. Gengar goes for the burn into Celesteela, probably predicting a physical moveset because we've seen that a couple of times. Liepard's just going to go ahead and get the Snarl, and Celesteela picks up the KO with Steel Spike. In the meantime, Porygon Z snuck in a Nasty Plot, helping to offset the Snarl there. As we bring in Incineroar, the Liepard switches out into Fungus, expecting the Fake Out. Porygon Z targets Celesteela with Max Lightning's not going to pick up the KO, and unfortunately also activates Weakness Policy. So now it gets a quick pickup with the Max Rockfall, further boosting its special attack through Beast Boost. Now the saving grace here is they didn't get off any speed boost with Airstream, so Porygon Z is free to attack into it, especially with the Fake Out from Rillaboom to stop the Fungus from redirecting as it comes in. Alright, now Tapu Lele comes in, and something curious to note, there was no grassy terrain set down, but now Tapu Lele gets to set down psychic terrain and uses Psyshock. Doesn't clear the Porygon Z, but Sandstorm is going to go ahead and pick that up on its way out. And then Rillaboom sets up a Swords Dance, surprisingly. Without the priority of Grassy Glide through grassy terrain, though, it's kind of just stuck there. Not going to be able to contest both Liepard and Tapu Lele. So, good way to close out the game from Josh. Very solid showing. It's like I was mentioning in the previous video, if you don't have a way to answer the major threats, or at least not quickly, you kind of get steamrolled. This wasn't the combination that we were expecting leading out, but it still was used to great effect. Like the Celesteela caused so much damage for Datrevdo, and that's kind of a testament to how well it matches up into the team. Like just looking at Porygon Z, Rillaboom. They don't really do anything to the Celesteela, and then if you use the Incineroar, you're at threat of being KO'd by the Max Rockfall, and it continues to pick up special attack boosts from Beast Boost. It just becomes a disaster. So in game 2, we need to see the adjustment here. This time leading with Incineroar Cresselia. Josh is going to lead the same leads as before, and Max Celesteela immediately the same as before. We get the Fake Out into the Liepard, which allows Cresselia to set up a light screen before Celesteela gets to move, so that's going to help soften the blow a little bit. But we still got Sandstorm set up, and Liepard gonna go ahead and set up Fake Tears into the Cresselia, where Celesteela fires off a Steel Spike. It's not gonna pick up any kind of KO, and then Datrevdo is gonna get Incineroar out of dodge by using U-turn. There's a lot of damage and puts Porygon Z in position. Gonna use Protect to help stall out the max turn from Celesteela, but it's to no avail as it targets the Cresselia instead. Gets a pickup with Airstream to not only get a speed boost, but also a special attack boost from that Beast Boost. However, Dynamax is over for Josh and just starting for Datrevdo. Another Fake Out comes in from Incineroar. Great job to reserve that for this moment. So the Sandstorm is going to pick it up in just a moment without Liepard being able to move. In the meantime, though, Porygon Z fires off a Max Strike into Celesteela to nullify that Airstream boost. Tapu Lele is going to come in and threaten the Porygon Z, but just Max Guards and takes both attacks, where now Incineroar gets to knock out the Celesteela. So might have been an oopsie there. Fungus comes in, redirects the max strike from the Porygon Z, but it takes a one-hit KO for all of its troubles. Now it's a 2v1 between Porygon Z and Incineroar, so no chance for the Lele to make an impact there. Really good adjustment from Datrevdo. This time, not allowing Incineroar to get KO'd, getting the light screen set up to help versus the Celesteela, which they've identified correctly as a problem. And then being able to use the Porygon Z to do immense amounts of damage to just the right targets, leading to this in-game. Though I do think that there may have been, I'm not going to call it a mistake, but the turn where they targeted into the Porygon Z, probably expecting to just get a KO and doubled up to make sure that it would pick up a KO. But that one turn with the max guard to defend against both those attacks, allowing them to take out the Celesteela, who was a major player for that team, may have been misguided, or either that or Datrevdo, just from their side, predicting correctly on the double up, and just playing to their outs and managed to come out on top in that situation. But I think that was that was specifically the turning point that kind of upset the game. All right, and then moving on to the final game 3 for all the marbles to make it into the finals. We now see Incineroar and Cottonee versus Hatterene and Tapu Lele. So this is a particularly threatening psychic duo that could kind of go to town, but Cottonee sets up Sunny Day on his way out, and then Incineroar picks up the one-hit KO onto Hatterene with that boost. So a trade for 1-1, but Pelipper goes ahead and flips the weather with its own drizzle. Celesteela comes in, makes an appearance, as Gengar launches Max Ooze into it. May have been misguided. The Max Phantasm or just Shadow Ball into that slot may have been more advised. Now they're kind of on the back foot, having to deal with Celesteela doing immense damage through Max Airstream. That's going to pick up the KO on the Porygon Z, another +1 speed boost, special attack boost. They're in position to just really go ahead and take it all. Incineroar picks up the KO onto the Pelipper with a fake out, but it's just going to take a rock fall for his troubles. Another special attack boost comes in, and Gengar, even though it has Max Lightning, is not quite going to do enough damage even on electric terrain, and then just procs the weakness policy. Now it's just Gengar versus the world, and with Celesteela and Dynamax, it's just not enough. Tapu Lele is going to pick up the KO, but it was sure to fall to the Celesteela regardless. All right, so great battle, I think, from both players. I think game 3 was a little bit unfortunate from Datrevdo. They were going for a specific strategy, I think, where Incineroar gets to shine, which I don't dislike, considering that Celesteela is kind of a major player for the enemy team. Like we identified earlier, it's the major threat that's hard to move past, especially considering that there's no stab electric move. So it's kind of all up to Incineroar to do the heavy lifting there. Sunny Day to increase the damage on the Flare Blitz or the Max Flare is not a terrible idea. I think the adjustment from Josh, though, kind of threw them off, where they led with the Tapu Lele and the Hatterene. With Tapu Lele clearing out the Cottonee as soon as the sun was reset by Drizzle. There's no way to turn it back on outside of Max Flare, and by that point, your damage is gutted. So I think that one Pokemon put Datrevdo in such a weird position that without a very specific strategy to address that, it just kind of put them in a bind. It's just an overall favorite matchup for Josh. Either way, again, congrats to, I've said this before, congrats to both players making it into top 4. So there's 3 players from group number 2 in the top 4. So it was just bound to always have at least one of them in the finals. So congrats to Josh for moving on. I've made it to the final as well, so hopefully we can make for a great battle. Either way, I will see you then. Take care.